think Japanese people are extremely polite, but not friendly. And Chinese people, they're extremely friendly, but sometimes not very.
He does make some really good points, but I think there are some important nuances worth adding. As a Chinese person who loves Japan, who has lived in Japan and has spent years in Europe, I'd like to break down some of the personality and cultural differences between Japanese people and Chinese people, and discuss whether foreigners may find it easier living in Japan or China. Let me first start with the true story of the Chinese guy who got reported in Japan. There was a Chinese man working in Japan. His Japanese co-workers smiled every day, bowed, helped him when needed, and were extremely polite. Naturally, he thought, this person is so nice to me, we should become friends. So he invited the co-worker out on social media multiple times. And the result? He got reported for harassment. Why? Because from a Japanese perspective, politeness is part of the job. It is not an invitation to friendship. But from a Chinese perspective, if someone treats you so warmly, it's often assumed that this person wants to be friends with you. And this is one of the biggest cultural misunderstandings. Polite doesn't equal friendly. And what does polite actually mean in Japan? Japanese politeness is fundamentally based on a social agreement. Maintain a proper distance and avoid causing trouble for others. Typical examples include using honorific language, avoiding prolonged eye contact with strangers, and not asking personal questions. The core principle is simple. Don't inconvenience other people. Politeness creates boundaries. You might work with someone for 3 years without knowing anything about this person privately. Friendliness certainly exists in Japan, but it comes with its limits. If you cross those limits, your enthusiasm may be interpreted as 空気を読めない or 迷惑をかける. Why Chinese people can seem impolite? Chinese social norms operate very differently. People ask about someone's salary, people speak loudly in the restaurants and share food directly from each other's plates, or you can invite someone to dinner after only a few days. But in Japan and many other cultures, these behaviors can feel intrusive. But in China, they often mean, I don't see you as an outsider. The logic is almost the opposite. It's not, I respect you, so I keep my distance. It is, I break down the distance to show that I accept you as one of us. One thing that I found really interesting about the Japanese culture is the culture of not troubling others. This is perhaps one of the deepest differences. In China, friendship means mutual dependence. You ask friends to help you move, lend you things, join group purchases, do flavors, bring your food on the way home, blah, blah, blah. The underlying idea is that if you're willing to inconvenience me, it means you trust me. And in Japan, friendship means avoiding burden. So people are more likely to hire movers, search for information themselves, and avoid imposing on others whenever possible. The logic is not troubling others is a form of respect. Chinese people may feel Japanese people are too distant, and Japanese people may feel Chinese people are too intrusive. Another major difference is rules versus flexibility. Japan values rules, and China values practicality and flexibility. Chinese people often think, oh, Japanese people are too rigid, and Japanese people often think, Chinese people don't follow rules. At the deepest level, Japanese society prioritizes order and consistency. People generally want clear answers to what is allowed and what is not allowed, whereas the Chinese society prioritizes practical outcomes. Rules often feel more flexible. People ask, is this necessary? Is this convenient? Does it solve the problem? Sometimes relationships and contexts matter as much as rules, or even more. Imagine you're in a restaurant. In Japan, most people wouldn't ask, can you add extra cilantro? Can you reduce the meat? Because the menu is the menu. Changing it may be viewed as creating extra work. In China, on the contrary, especially in smaller restaurants, customized requests are extremely common. Similarly, Chinese restaurants and cafes are often quite flexible about outside food and special requests. The overall atmosphere reflects these cultural values. In China, loud conversations are normal. People share food, children run around, videos may be played out loud, etc. The atmosphere is relaxed, lively, and tolerant. In Japan, restaurants are usually quiet. Everyone focuses on their own meal. Loud voices attract attention, so the atmosphere is more restrained, calm, and considerate. I think neither is superior. One prioritizes human connection and social flow. The other prioritizes personal space and social order. Another thing I want to mention is the missing politeness system in China. Chinese actually lacks many of the routine social phrases common in most Western languages or Japanese. People don't ask how are you, don't say bon appetit or gochirosama deshita. The cultural logic is politeness is judged by actions, not formulas. Many Chinese people believe practical kindness matters more than ritual politeness. Also, Chinese culture is often warmer and more welcoming, but when it comes to respecting strangers' personal space, to be honest, I really don't think we're good at this. But I also believe that it is not necessarily always because people are rude. Part of this comes from growing up in a crowded environment where public space is shared and inconveniences are tolerated more easily. So, is it better for foreigners to live in China or in Japan? Many foreigners arrive in China and immediately notice people are incredibly friendly. Strangers may start conversations, offer help, invite you to meals, become friends very quickly. But this friendliness can sometimes come with boundary issues. For example, people taking photos without permission, touching your hair, asking for selfies, asking very personal questions. For some foreigners, this can feel very intrusive. Japan is almost the opposite. Foreigners often describe Japan as safe, clean, polite, and orderly, but many also find it difficult to truly integrate. Making friends can take much longer, and many social roles are invisible. I experienced this myself. While living in Japan, I once went to a fruit shop and picked up one fruit that I wanted to buy. The staff immediately became upset and told me I had broken the rules and asked me to leave. Later, I learned that the fruit was sold by basket and I shouldn't take them individually. For locals, this was obvious. For a foreigner, it wasn't. Situations like this happen more often than people think. Japan is a wonderful country, but as a foreigner, you may sometimes feel like I have to be very careful all the time because there are rules that I don't even know that exist. To conclude, I think Chinese and Japanese people are different ways of being good people. The Japanese politeness is a very sophisticated system of social boundaries, which protects everyone's personal space, and this does not automatically lead to intimacy. Whereas the Chinese warmth is a low-boundary, high-participation social style, which makes it easier to enter people's lives, creates a more relaxed atmosphere, and sometimes sacrifices personal space. Honestly, I think neither approach is right or wrong. They simply produce different outcomes. And if you want to build close relationships quickly, China may feel easier for you. If you value quiet spaces, predictability, and clear boundaries instead, Japan may feel more comfortable. So which one would you choose? These observations are based on my own experiences and perspectives. Of course, they only describe overall tendencies instead of every individual. If you're interested in Chinese culture, you can watch this video where I talk about behaviors that are polite abroad but impolite in China. See you there. Bye bye.